Put your hands up. What follows is extremely rare. Bodycam involving a U.S. Federal Border Patrol agent in armed robbery by a suspect wanted by the FBI, and an intense pursuit involving shots fired on July 27, 2022 at a Lowe's home improvement store in Las Cruces, New Mexico. CCTV captured two masked men walking into the store pushing a cart. Right behind them was an off-duty Border Patrol agent who happened to be shopping at the same time. A few moments later, the two men were seen walking towards the self-checkout with a portable air conditioner when an employee asked for their receipt. The men ignored him and continued pushing the item towards the exit, prompting store employees to follow. As employees tried to stop them at the door, one of the men pulled out a gun and pointed it at the employees before walking away. Unfortunately for the shoplifters, the off-duty agent witnessed what unfolded at the exit and began tailing the men on foot. The men are captured on camera walking towards their vehicle, a maroon Chevy Tahoe, followed by the agent, who pulled out his phone to photograph it and call 911. The men loaded the car and immediately sped off. 5 minutes later, officers located the vehicle just 1 mile east of the Lowe's. Lopez was quickly rushed to the hospital for his injuries. 20 minutes later, officers on standby at the scene are approached by a woman. Soon after police talk to the suspect's family, investigators arrive on the scene and begin questioning the detained passenger. Miles Luciano was taken into custody and booked into jail, where he was held without bond. Despite the gunfire, Luciano sustained no injuries. He was charged with 1 count of interference with commerce by threats or violence, prosecuted by the U.S. federal government's Department of Justice. In May 2023, he pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 3 years and 10 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Joshua Lopez, on the other hand, made a full recovery from his injuries at the hospital before successfully escaping on August 3, 2022. In response, the FBI issued a federal warrant for his arrest, and a 1-month manhunt ensued before he was apprehended in September 2022. He was charged with 3 counts of interference with commerce by threats or violence, as he was also a perpetrator of armed shoplifting incidents at Best Buy and AutoZone in New Mexico that same year. In December 2024, he pleaded guilty on all 3 counts and was sentenced to 7 years and 2 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. What can we take away from this? First, an off-duty federal agent witnessing a felony is not the same as a civilian witness. Off-duty federal law enforcement officers generally retain arrest authority under federal law and applicable state law. The agent's decision to tail on foot, document the vehicle, and call 911 rather than directly confront two masked armed men alone is textbook off-duty protocol. Observe, document, notify. The information he provided in those minutes became the evidentiary foundation for the charges that followed. Second, the Hobbs Act is not a state charge. When armed robbery targets a national retail chain like Lowe's, a business whose operations involve interstate commerce, the federal government has jurisdiction under 18 U.S.C. Section 1951. Federal prosecution means the Department of Justice federal sentencing guidelines, no parole, and mandatory minimums. What began as a stolen air conditioner was prosecuted as a federal crime because pointing a gun at employees of a national chain obstructs commerce. The sentence reflects that. Third, the pre-pursuit confirmation on camera is legally significant. Before committing to an active pursuit of an armed robbery, suspect the officer explicitly confirmed on radio that victims felt threatened and wished to press charges. The exchange, "I need to make sure that we're good," is not bureaucratic excess. It is the lawful foundation that validates every use of force that follows. Officers who document this confirmation protect themselves, their department, and the case. Fourth, escaping from hospital custody is not a successful escape. Joshua Lopez recovered from his gunshot wounds, walked out of custody on August 3rd, and remained free for less than 1 month before the FBI located and arrested him. The escape added no time off his sentence. It added federal flight exposure, a formal FBI manhunt, and the reputational weight of being a fugitive. He faced the same charges either way. The sentence he ultimately received, 7 years and 2 months, reflects the full pattern of conduct across 3 separate incidents. And finally, the suspect's family arriving at the active crime scene 20 minutes after the shooting reflects a dynamic that officers encounter regularly. People who love the person who just did this. Officers provided the minimum information available. He's alive, he's at the hospital, and declined to share details of an active investigation. That is legally correct. It is also genuinely difficult. The mother did not cause what happened. She is living the consequences of it. Officers manage that correctly with patience, not coldness, and that matters.